Welcome, learners, to another deep dive. Today, we're getting into a really intriguing set of sources. We've got excerpts from Laura Bradley's mystery novel, The Brush Off, a hair-raising mystery. Our mission today is to look beyond just the plot, to pull out those insightful bits that show how this story explores truth being stranger than fiction, especially when you mix high glamour and, well, deadly secrets.
That's exactly right. We're not just retelling the story here. We're analyzing how what seems like a straightforward murder actually unravels this really complex web. You've got hidden identities, family legacies, power dynamics in elite circles, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's like a master class almost in how one person's curiosity, just relentless curiosity, can slice through these carefully built lies. Exactly. So what's the big picture for you listening? Well, we'll see how the author uses this world of like hairspray and high stakes to expose the underbelly of privilege and how really unexpected people can become these accidental detectives, but incredibly effective ones.
And how tiny details, things you might overlook, suddenly click together to show you something startling.
Totally. Okay, let's dive in. Our protagonist is Reyn Martin Sawyer. She owns a salon called Transformations.
And she's described as, well, witty, sarcastic, pretty direct.
And it's those traits, plus her background. She's from Dimebox, a small town, put herself through college doing cosmetology.
Yeah.
Oh, and 47 pairs of cowboy boots.
Can't forget the boots.
Right. All that immediately tells you she's an outsider. And that positioning, wouldn't you say, is just crucial for her role in this whole thing.
Absolutely. Her whole self-made story, that vibrant personality, her grandmother saying she had more guts than a sausage factory.
Yeah.
It sets her completely apart from the world she's about to kind of crash into. It establishes her right away as this unconventional force, ready to challenge the status quo.
And you see that contrast immediately when we look at the victim.
Ricardo Montoya.
Legend.
Legendary hairstylist, yeah.
Yeah.
Owner of 25 Ricardo's Realm salons. Ultramodern, cold, clean places. Total opposite of Reyn's salon, which is warm and cluttered.
But his image, maybe that was the biggest illusion, right? You built up this whole story about coming from some aristocratic family in Mexico City.
Yeah, and this is such a fascinating thing the author digs into. That curated persona versus the painful truth. Turns out he actually grew up super poor in South San Antonio, orphaned at 13, worked his way up.
And kept it all a secret. Believed it was vital for his brand, his image.
It really says a lot about the pressure, in that world of high glamour. The pressure to maintain an image and the cost of keeping up that facade, and his perfectionism, being a brutal boss, treating stylists like employees, not contractors, that maybe hints at this deep need for control, too.
Yeah, and the crime itself, it's weirdly specific. Ricardo's found murdered with Reyn's own brush.
A boar's hairbrush.
Yeah, with a sharpened plastic pick sticking out of his back. And then there's that last phone call he makes to Reyn, middle of the night.
Chilling. Whispering, right?
Whispering, yeah. Take care of what's mine. The proof, it's there in the pudding. And then you get the salons, and he's literally bleeding to death.
And using her brush, Reyn's brush, as the weapon that's kind of brilliant by the author. It's so domestic, An intimate object turned deadly. It immediately points the finger at Reyn and flips expectations. It's not some, professional hit weapon. It grounds it in the personal.
And boom, she's face to face with the law. Detective Jackson Scythe.
Described as arrogant, charismatic, dry ice eyes.
Yeah, and his partner, Fred Crandall, the gumsmacker. Scythe just hands Reyn a barf bag right at the scene.
Sets the tone immediately.
And implies she's a suspect. Because it's her brush, she used to work there, maybe she still had a key. Yeah. The whole battle of wits just kicks off right there.
And if that wasn't enough drama.
Right. Then comes the will. Ricardo's lawyer, Rita Gibson, drops the bombshell.
Yeah.
He left Reyn all 25 salons.
Oh.
But with this totally bizarre condition, she has to give his eulogy at the funeral, or she gets nothing.
That is quite the condition.
And there's another cryptic message from Ricardo in there. I've made 2 mistakes. The first was the best thing I ever did. The second was the worst thing I ever did. Talk about setting things up.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What makes someone like Reyn just defy everything, expectations, her own safety, when faced with all this public scrutiny, this tragedy?
Especially since Ricardo wanted the memorial held within 48 hours. Super fast.
And Reyn shows up late, right? In this crazy outfit, pink spandex, aloha shirt, because she had this frantic rush, even broke into Ricardo's house beforehand.
And her eulogy. It's
Yeah.
definitely not standard. She calls out everyone there.
Yeah, she basically says, tell the police his secrets. Keeping secrets might have killed him. It could kill you too.
It's such a bold move.
It really is. It's a huge character moment. But it also totally cements her as a suspect for the police. Puts her under 24-hour surveillance.
Which ironically gives her an alibi later, but still.
Exactly. But it's that feeling of debt, that loyalty to Ricardo. I owed him. She thinks that really pushes her to start digging herself.
And she pulls in her best friend, Trudy Trio, who sounds amazing.
Oh, yeah. Biggest mouth west of the Brazos River. Prone to fainting.
But loyal and surprisingly sharp.
Mm-hmm.
And her husband, Mario, adds some laughs.
Mm-hmm. And through another friend, a stylist named Inez, Reyn finds out something crucial early on. Ricardo was rumored to be bisexual. Swung both ways.
So what does that tell us right away?
Well, it immediately just widens the whole field of potential secrets, you know? It's not just about business anymore. Hints at a more complicated private life he was trying to hide.
Which leads her to some interesting places, like illusions.
Right, a transvestite club. She goes there with Bettina Hahn, a new client who used to see Ricardo and performs there. She calls her career a divine calling.
The author uses that setting so well.
Totally. Reyn meets characters like Lady Godiva, the bouncer Gregor, and one of the drag queens, the redhead, gives her a key piece of info.
What's that?
That Ricardo used to come to Illusions, yeah, but not as a fan. He was using it to stake out the place for a secret meeting like a week before he died.
Because nobody admits seeing anyone else there.
Exactly. Total discretion. And the person Ricardo met, a power broker, looked familiar, like from TV or the newspaper, described as a tennis guy, tense and angry.
Okay. Secrets hiding in plain sight. That seems to be a theme.
Definitely. And it continues when Reyn and Trudy go see Zurita, Ricardo's psychic.
The psychic.
Right.
Lives in a round beige house, uses a human fishbowl office.
And she avoids touching Reyn because of her powerful personality, which is just a great little detail.
It is. And Zurita basically tells Reyn she's there to pay Ricardo's bill.
But then she gives her something much more valuable. A list of Ricardo's personal clients on violet papyrus.
Ooh, fancy.
And she gives this cryptic warning, like holding the list is shaking hands with fate, that many things die in the face of truth. Happiness, peace, love.
Heavy stuff. But that list is the key, isn't it?
It's a fantastic plot device, gives Reyn a direct line into Ricardo's hidden world, and she starts connecting the dots. Talks to Janice Hornbuckle, client number 8.
Owns My Mother Earth, the feminine hygiene products company.
Right. And Janice says she overheard Ricardo on the phone talking about blackmail, and that he called someone Mikata, my dear, or my face, while cutting her hair. Suggests intimacy.
And Janice herself is paranoid. Hints about maybe doing time.
Yeah, it just paints this picture of the dangerous circles Ricardo is moving in. And then they get a physical key.
From Gerald Aiken, the super-organized VP at Ricardo's realm.
Yeah.
He's labeled keys for everything.
That detail, the labeled keys, it just sets up the big reveal perfectly. Because they use the key to get into Ricardo's house, find a secret compartment in his closet.
And inside, what do they find?
Okay, get this. A framed photo of a handsome teenager, John Velita. A lock of straight black hair, 9 inches long, tied with a purple ribbon, smells like lavender. And a newspaper clipping, 24 years old, about the death of a philanthropist named Paul Johnstone.
Wow. Okay, now things are really starting to connect.
This is where the past just slams into the present, the puzzle pieces click. Reyn confronts Celine Velita, the woman from the photo.
And she's married to a U.S. senator.
Exactly. And Reyn figures it out. John Velita, Celine's son, who's running for state representative, he's Ricardo's biological son.
Whoa. Does John know?
Nope. He has no idea. He's not even really into politics, wants an ordinary job. But he has Ricardo's gestures, his profile. The resemblance is uncanny, even though Celine tries to shut Reyn down.
So, a secret love child, 25 years hidden.
Yeah.
Involving a senator's wife and a famous hairstylist.
Classic soap opera, but with higher stakes, and the secrets keep coming. Reyn starts looking into Mike Van Dyke.
He's Sarah Johnstone's second husband. Wait, Paul Johnstone was her first husband, the dead philanthropist.
Bingo! And Van Dyke is running against John Velita for that state representative seat. He's the tennis guy from Illusions.
Okay, it's all weaving together.
It really is.
Yeah.
The gardener at the Van Dyke place mentions Mike used to be Paul Johnstone's assistant, helped with ingredients for his desserts, including specific plants.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And Sarah Johnstone Van Dyke.
She admits giving Ricardo $50,000 after Paul died. For services. Pretty clearly implies Ricardo knew something incriminating, right? She's even trying to use a magazine feature on her house to boost Mike's campaign while talking to Reyn. priorities.
So Ricardo wasn't just cutting hair. He was collecting secrets, maybe blackmailing people.
It definitely looks that way. The author shows how his job gave him this incredible, intimate access to the secrets of the rich and powerful. He leveraged it.
And the final pieces.
Reyn gets the medical examiner's report for Paul Johnstone and discovers, crucially, no poison was detected back then, which means the initial assumption of natural causes might be wrong.
Leading to the big confrontation.
Yep. Mike Van Dyke attacks Reyn at her house, and he confesses everything.
He killed Paul Johnstone. How?
Fed him oleander. Poisonous plant, tastes bitter. He figured the lemon lavender dressing on the dessert and an old expiration date would mask it enough, since it takes more than one bite to kill.
That's cold. And his plan for Reyn.
Kill her too. Make it look like she accidentally poisoned herself. He forces her to eat this oleander salad.
Oh my God. How does she get out of it?
She's on the phone with Trudy, and she uses an inside joke, a prearranged code to signal she's in danger without Van Dyke realizing. It's brilliant.
Wow. Talk about quick thinking.
Totally.
And that's basically how our deep dive wraps up. Reyn gets rescued, Van Dyke gets arrested, all the secrets of San Antonio's elite just spill out.
And John Villita finds out who his real father was, and he ends up taking over Ricardo's salons, which feels like fulfilling Ricardo's wish, in a way.
Yeah, that legacy lives on.
It really does. And this whole deep dive, it just underscores how these threads from the past, a brush, a weird phone call, can tangle up into these complex motives and hidden truths.
Ricardo's two mistakes. You think the first was Celine and John, and the second was the blackmail.
It seems likely, doesn't it? One mistake born from love, maybe. The other from greed or desperation, both with huge lasting consequences. It shows how our actions, good and bad, really shape everything. So, thinking about Reyn's journey, what's the takeaway for us? This story seems to say that sometimes the most dangerous thing isn't the information itself.
Right. It's what people will do to keep it buried. And how just one curious outsider, someone relentless, can be the catalyst to bring it all into the light.
It really makes you think.
Definitely. And maybe it raises a question for you, listening. In your own life, what important truth might be hiding right there, in plain sight, just waiting for someone curious enough to, well, deep dive into it?
Good question to ponder. Until next time, keep digging, keep questioning, and stay well informed.